Hello, welcome to Finishing Touch. My name is Riley James. We are on YouTube. Got the LAFC kit, the OG kit with the YouTube TV on it. Product placement. We're all about that here at the State Soccer Network. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to be an owner of a social media network? We have a very unique opportunity where we build you a turnkey social media website that is specific to a theme or niche that you are passionate about. Upon signing up, you'll become a part of our Social Titan community, which is made up of social network owners just like you. You can then share ideas and strategies on how to grow your user base and get more traffic to your website. But how will you make money? Once you have the traffic on your website, all you have to do is sell advertising to companies in your niche. Just 3 months ago, we launched a social network for soccer, and now that same website has over 60,000 visitors each month. That soccer website is also generating monthly income on advertising from soccer-based businesses. It's really that simple. Join our Facebook group today to learn how you can become a social titan.
Today, we have a guest from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. A lot to talk about with this dude, Rob Hadvance. Rob, how you doing? Thank you for joining the show.
Pretty good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, it's such a unique perspective that you have for this. It's awesome to see all the things that you've done. I got your resume yesterday from my boss, and I cannot wait to dig into this with you. So there's one place I do want to start. It is the Pocono Snow Juniors. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You were a specialist in technical and tactical stuff with them. How have you kind of developed as a coach and kind of a man who is putting these pieces in places for to have successful soccer teams? What did you learn through your time there, and how have you applied it to what you've done since you've been on beyond that?
Yeah, absolutely. So once I started, I really didn't know too much about soccer. I was just trying to get into it. I had a little bit of college experience, high school experience, but once I came on, I was under a head coach that was a head recruiter at Manchester United, and Phil Brogan, and he taught me a lot. And then I was under another coach, Winga. From what I've learned from them, they taught astronomical amounts of soccer. They had the experience, so I kind of took it and just ran with it. I just wanted to learn as much as I can as I was still young. So technical and tactical training, I just did a lot of footwork with them. I ran through training. I ran the training sessions, ran training clinics, had my own teams with them. And the large group that we had, about 50 to 60 kids at the time, and it continued growing. We specialize in just technical training with the kids and a lot of tactical on the side sometimes, but just the large groups that we had, it was just a lot of fun to deal with, work with. And they played overseas in soccer, and they had a lot of experience in the United States as well. But it was just the difference of U.S. soccer compared to the European way. I really learned the difference at that time, and just took it and ran with it. Just the footwork that they did, the different drills that they did compared to what I was used to doing a little bit in college and high school. It was a lot different and what I was used to on a recreational soccer. So it was a new level. So what I took from that, I just learned as much as I can. I went to classes. I took my D license. I got that pretty quickly. From there, leading to today, I just took that and kind of implement a lot of those sessions with the kids that I train today. A lot of individual sessions, a lot of technical training. Tactical, I kind of stay away from currently, as I don't train specific teams. I work on just individual training. So I just work on technical training, footwork, which I see is a huge increase in this area that I love teaching. So I just kind of build myself around technical or tactical training on the side sometimes, but technical training is what I love to specialize in. I love getting the footwork with them. I love seeing the smiles on the kids' faces when they leave, the sweat pouring down their faces when they get a workout in. It just really helps me. It puts a smile on my face when I walk away from the session when I see a kid work hard, and I love working on that aspect of soccer.
So obviously, it's super important to have good footwork, and that's pretty much the basis of any soccer coach and any developmental program is footwork, getting touches on the ball. What do you typically go with for beginners or people trying to improve their overall game? What is one drill that you typically lean towards to?
Free dribbling. It's just the biggest thing. You don't give them an obstacle. Just give them maybe a few yards, a few feet, depending on the field that you're actually working with, the space, the indoor facility, outdoor facility. You let them free dribble. As you implement it, if you're doing one session, a few sessions, you implement cones. You intermet the infamous bob, the stick figure that you want to put in. You give them obstacles as you go. But beginners is something I really like working with because I love building their confidence and seeing how they create themselves and be creative with their feet. The biggest thing that I always tell my kids when they come into a session, if they're scared, um, I ask them if they go to art class on a daily basis and say their feet are paintbrushes, their legs are paintbrushes. You have to be creative as possible when you're on the field and think outside the box. So to begin with, if I start off with a kid, any kid, I just give them open space dribbling, free dribbling, inside, outside, outside only, inside only, and then I start getting the small games with them. And then if I move into small groups, it freeze tag, freeze. Um, so you do small games like that, but I just give them open space and let them do what they have to do, and let them get a little bit more comfortable on the ball until they kind of build up their confidence.
I want to go back to something you said in your first answer. There's a lot of follow up questions I could have gone with, and I really want to focus on something that you said. You referenced the European play and how their tactical styles have kind of evolved over time. There's an English style of play, there's an Italian, there's a Spanish. What is the American way that you've seen? Because you've obviously been in a lot of coaching on the developmental levels, whether it be kind of camps and clinics and stuff. What have you seen from kind of the beginners and kind of the intermediate players that have really developed an American style? Or is it just pulling from those European styles?
I think just pulling from the European styles. I never really had a mentor that was from mainly the U.S. and coached on the U.S. and taught the U.S. way. I've learned very early. I guess I was kind of luckily enough to gain that experience to start off my career and not learn under the U.S. way of soccer. I mean, I'm not any way of soccer. As long as you're teaching kids the way to play soccer, they're going to learn and grow and develop in their own way. But I just love the European way because they spread the field and the way that they teach the kids, they build from the ground up instead of the uh, sky down or opposite. I love teaching technical skills. Then they keep on going from there, and then they can learn the tactical skills as they get older. I've seen a lot of in this area, a lot of the coaches that jump right into that skill, but they don't build the ground up. So they're trying to teach kids level 10 when they should be on level 1.
Right. And I think that's an interesting point. I not to I got a list of things I want to get to, but you're providing so many opportunities for follow up questions. The the thing that I'm always curious about, and I experienced this playing high school soccer, what is the one thing that generally high school coaches are kind of missing the point on, that maybe they should be developing players to play a certain style earlier? Do you feel, dealing with kind of people in your area, do you feel like high school coaches are making it too simple or too difficult?
From this area, I don't have too much experience since I just currently moved to this area. I'm in the Delco. It's one of the biggest soccer areas in the state of Pennsylvania, but I don't have too much experience in that one. But I don't think they're teaching the wrong way. There's a lot of big clubs in this area. Just one thing that I would see sometimes wrong with high school coaches, they're just teaching too much too early. Again, going back, you got to start from the ground up. You can't hand a guy or a kid or a child or a high school kid a lot of information on day one. You just got to build from the ground up. You can't go too fast or expect too much from them. A lot of coaches or even parents put too much expectations on their kids, and it could really burn them out too much.
Brief interruption. We are looking for advertisers for the State Soccer Network website and the app. You can advertise to over 2,000 daily users on statesoccernetwork.com and the SSN app. Plans start at $30 a month, but mention our show in the email and you will get 1 month of that free. Contact statesoccernetwork@gmail.com for more information. And back to the show. Let's go back to kind of the coaching license that you acquired. Obviously, U.S. Soccer and the Soccer Federation. The the licensing, what is the process for coaches to be licensed? What does your license mean and represent? I mean, this is kind of a question for the coaches out there that want to get on higher levels. So, can you explain your license and how you acquired it?
Yeah, so when I first started coaching with the Pocono Snow, it basically required us to get our D license. I was sent off to the New York Red Bulls, had a training session with them. It was just a 1 day. I know it changed a lot since then, but I had I think it was a 4 or 5 hour training session with the head trainer at New York Red Bulls. It was basic soccer training with the D license back then. I believe that was in maybe 2013. I know it has changed a lot. Getting your license means a world to some trainers, some coaches. Some are a prerequisite to go forward and coach high school and even college, I believe, in the area nowadays. But you asked that. I was speaking to a trainer yesterday that I work with at the facility I'm at, and she was going through the coaching license and everything. Somebody could have a lot of coaching licenses, but it just the basic soccer that they may not teach, they may not know. But getting the license when I got it, I was so proud of myself. I want to continue my education. I would love to get up to my C license and continue growing. But the U.S. soccer, the grassroots and everything, it does teach a lot of. It gives a lot of knowledge and it continues education throughout your soccer career. I highly recommend it for everybody. I'm preaching for myself because I would love to continue my education. It's hard to get in classes now due to COVID, which probably put a stop to a lot of things. But getting your license, I believe it could be everything for any coach if they're willing to learn. Also for parents, if they're looking to grow their education for their child, if they're really just trying to get involved, those classes are absolutely amazing to take.
Going back to something for the kids. Obviously, we have a lot of people that are 13 to 17 that watch this show that want to play high school soccer, college soccer, and even professional soccer. You have worked with Liga MX and MLS scouts. Was there something in particular that they look for when kind of trying to pull high school age kids to go play for developmental academies or even for the first team? Is there something in particular that maybe that they look for or kids need to work on?
I went to a coaching clinic with them before that tournament that I had, and the biggest thing that they try to implement, you could do 1,000 drills in a session or even a pre warm up, but if you don't do them correctly, like a small passing drill, if you don't open up your hips, turn the right way, you always want to do a drill correctly. You don't want to do it improper or your form's off. If you're always implementing a drill within a session, you always want correct form, proper posture, moving on and off the ball. But what I believe they look for is just your knowledge for the game and your skill and your ability to play. They always want you to step up to the next level. That's what they really want regardless of your age, they always want you at the next level. They always want you thinking ahead of time. If you can think ahead of time, you're already ahead of the game.
So it goes back to the old adage: never be the best player in your team.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that was drilled into my head in all the sports that I played. Can you talk about this developmental soccer program you have in Downington, and how you're a part of it, and what's the benefit for people to be a part of it?
Yeah, so I started when I moved to the Downingtown area. I was trying to look to get involved with the community, and I started refing at the local facility at United Sports in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. And as I was going through these sessions and refing on the weeks, during the week and on the weekends, I realized that these kids didn't have much skill, even though we have a huge soccer network in the area with Penn Fusion, FC Delco. There's a few other clubs, but those are probably the two biggest in the state. But the recreation level at United Sports, they just have a rec league that goes on the weekends, and I noticed that they really didn't have that much technical ability. So I pulled on the side. I asked the facility if they have any other training sessions, individual training. So I asked them if I could start a training program, and we introduced it as a soccer development program. And we started going through early spring. And what I wanted to teach in the program was just basic ball skills. I started off with dribbling, small passing, small sided games, but I saw a huge growth. In the first session, we had maybe about 20 kids. It grew up to about 30, 35. We had to cut off the list because we didn't have that many trainers, but it was really good for the kids. And they continued asking if it's going to continue, how I'm going to continue. It broadened my horizons on my opportunity also to continue forward with training. I got pulled to the side to do individual training, and I just continued growing my network. But the main thing with the development program, I think it's great for any academy. I see them all over the country. Just I saw that facility really lacking them with it. It's just a development program that kids that really want to be introduced to soccer, that don't have the ability to play at the next level yet, but they want to get there. And it just teaching basic ball skill, movement on and off the ball, basic passing, and getting their touches on the ball. If you're touching the ball every day, it's fantastic. But once or twice a week, it's really not going to get the job done. And that's what I really implemented with myself and the trainers that I did have. And one of my head trainers is actually playing at University of Scranton now. They're lucky enough to play at I believe the Final Four in Division III soccer the last few weeks. So I had another really good trainer with me. It was absolutely fantastic to work with. I'm hoping in the spring that I get to introduce it again. I just love working with kids and building their skill level. But that's what we mainly worked on. It just their ball movement on and off the ball, their ball skill, and their awareness and their efficiency on the field.
Lot to pull from there. That's awesome. There's a lot of value in what you said. Personal question for you, and then we can wrap it up with what I have for the end. Have you been reached out to by, I don't know, the Philadelphia Union or maybe Pittsburgh Riverhounds or any pro soccer club in Pennsylvania? Or, I mean, do you have any aspirations to coach on the professional level like that?
I love the question. I've been asked a few times, but I've never been reached out. I mean, I'm fairly new in the area. I'm just trying to get my name out there. But I love training during the week, and I honestly love my weekends, as probably everybody does. I love just working on the week and just doing stuff on the weekends. But in the future, I want to build my network and hopefully do get there. If the opportunity comes knocking, I'm never going to say no. I mean, there's again in this area trainers they're I don't want to say all over, but there's a lot of great trainers in this area. They're with clubs. They're with the union. I never really thought about it until maybe about 4 or 5 months ago when somebody approached me. Hey, do you train anywhere else? No, I like what I do. I love doing individual training. The big groups, it's fantastic. Being on teams, it's also fantastic. I was there before. I it hurt traveling every weekend because I was playing soccer 8 days a week. It was like I was always on the road. I was always traveling to games, going to tournaments. But in the future, I would love to get back into it because I just love working with kids. But I love doing individual training and just working one on one. So that's where I sit right now. Maybe it'll build up to get a little bit bigger, but right now I love where I am and I'm very comfortable.
Well, I hope you get everything you want out of it. And if you want to move up to a professional team, I hope they offer you the biggest youth coaching contract available. Last but not least, you currently play competitively for Coatesville FC. Is that right?
Yes.
And you guys are heading to Los Angeles next year.
Yes, it actually just got changed to Phoenix, Arizona, due to everything ongoing. But yeah, we're playing in national finals.
Okay, that is incredible. Phoenix, lovely city. You guys are going to have a lot of fun. Can you talk about the reconciliation of still playing at a pretty high level, apparently, and taking what you deal with personally and put it into your coaching?
I mean, dealing with personally, I mean, as we get older, it's a little bit difficult to try to even attempt to stay in shape with family and everything. But I really try to just stay focused and try to just work out at least a little bit, at least 3, 4 days a week. But I also play during the week twice a week and play with the team on the side. But it is a little bit difficult just being involved with family, also trying to work out, get your schedule in order, travel. It is a little bit difficult. Everybody could probably attest to it, but I just try to stay focused. I know I got to at least work out 15, 20 minutes a day to keep on top of it. As I'm in my training sessions, I also just try to get the touches. I get very involved with the kids. So I also consider that a workout. But every day I just try to get touches on the ball, try to involve soccer in my life. My son, I try to get him involved as well, which is he's always wanting to touch the ball. So I'm always just surrounding myself with soccer or some other type of activity to stay in shape, keep my legs moving, and it just I keep on trying to gain more knowledge in soccer and try to grow my network, introduce myself to as many people as possible. So I feel very blessed on what is offered to me and what I have moving forward.
One last interruption before we finish the show. Finishing Touch is now looking for sponsors. We have 3 ad spots, as you saw today, and 100,000 views the first 8 episodes of this show. It's only going to get bigger. We thank you so much for the hot start that we've had, and we want to advertise your company in one of those 3 spots. Contact statesoccernetwork@gmail.com for more information, and please enjoy the end of the show. Last but not least, I want you to have an opportunity to show off that shirt you're wearing. I don't know if it's a
Oh,
particular
just
shirt for Next Level Indoor Sports. I know you're affiliated with them.
mm,
I wanted to get some brand recognition because I got the LAFC kit on today. YouTube. I currently work on YouTube, so all for branding. So I wanted to give you the opportunity.
no, I appreciate it.
You run that, don't you? Is that
I
right?
do not. I'm just a trainer there, so I'm under the director of operations. So I'm just one of the trainers there. So maybe one day I'll get to run a facility, but um, I just like my free time.
And like hanging out on the weekends. Man, Rob, thank you so much for making time. One last thing. I know you kind of gave some general advice to players who want to get better. But is there one thing in particular, other than touching the ball, maybe mentality wise, to help them get better?
Yeah, it just I always like think of that as kind of like work. If you think it's too small, it's never too small. The easiest drills, do them day in and day out. To work your hardest, regardless of the skill level that you are at or you want to work to. The easiest drill is going to play a long way inside of a soccer game. I've learned the hard way when I was injured. I couldn't even touch a soccer ball after being injured. Ball taps, bell taps, anything like that. It seems like the smallest thing, but you have to work hard towards it to reach your goal. So, regardless of how easy it is, continue working on it.
Well, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much for the time. A lot of great value, and I can't wait for this to go out.
No, I appreciate your time and the offer, and hopefully everybody continues working at soccer.
You got it, man. Hi, thank you so much for watching the show. We really do appreciate it here at the State Soccer Network. We also have some socials for you to check out: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at State Soccer Network. And at the State Soccer Network, we also have a website, statesoccernetwork.com, as you can see right there. It's available in the show description with a direct link to find out how to sign up your local high school soccer team and contests and events to win prizes. We also have an iOS app available in the App Store. Thank you so much for watching the things that we make. It really does mean a lot. And remember, the State Soccer Network, a place where you can become the next great American talent.